Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pencils, Policy, and Profits. I'm your host, Michelle Williams, longtime educator and candidate for Texas House District 127. In this episode, we're going to talk about the real cost for the promise of eliminating school taxes and how the defunding of public school fuels this ever increasing takeover of public school systems led by the Commissioner of Education, Mike Moore. You're probably asking yourself, how does defunding or schools having less money set the stage for a takeover? So we're going to take Houston ISD and Dallas ISD. Houston ISD brings in about $2 billion in school taxes. And Dallas ISD brings in $1.4 billion in school taxes. This is important because the way that the funding model is set up, the more school taxes that the school district brings in, the less the state has to give that school districts. Houston ISD, for example, brings in $2 billion. The state of Texas only gives the school district $400 million. That means that almost 90% of Houston ISD's revenue comes from those school property taxes. Then you have Dallas ISD, which generates or takes in $1.4 billion in school property taxes. And the state only gives Dallas ISD $1 million. The state is really not funding these school districts. It has actually defunded these school districts over time. The first thing that they did is they stopped increasing the allotment or the money given to public schools, and that's all public schools. You know what didn't stop? What didn't stop is gas prices increased, fuel for buses, electricity increased, also food increased, and right now the school districts don't have enough money to effectively run their school districts. Also, with all of the increases on these other things, teacher salaries have to go up. Their staff need raises because the cost of living has increased. Let's talk about school teacher salaries. About 70% of salaries come from those school taxes. If the state is reducing the amount of money, but the expenses for the school districts are still increasing, then you have a school district that is not able to run its district because it doesn't have the revenue. And in the case of Dallas ISD's payroll is $1.4 billion. It's equal to the amount of school property taxes that it collects. When we're talking about defunding school districts and how it sets the stage, so guess what happens? Districts can't effectively run their schools. So guess what starts to decline? The achievement of students. And then you have the Commissioner Morath, and people don't even know who he is, but he runs the Texas Education Agency. He is effectively handing public schools over to the governor because the governor wants to destroy public education. That is very evident. What happened is the Commissioner of Education changed the rules when it came to how long schools get to practice with a test before it affects accountability. The whole fight was about when those school districts got together and filed those lawsuits. That's exactly what happened. And he changed the rules. So now, guess what? You have a lot of failing schools, no money or less money. You have schools failing and they can't fix it because they don't have the money to hire the needed staff. So it's a catch-22. So defunding sets the stage for the Texas Education Agency to take over these school districts. What does the elimination of property taxes mean? It just means more state control. And the more control that the state has, the less control that you and I have. So this takeover and defunding of schools is about putting our school systems under state control. And what does that look like? It looks like the Houston Independent School District. Commissioner of Education has allowed their appointed superintendent, Mike Miles, to tear apart Houston ISD. And he has taken autonomy and control away from teachers. There's not any teaching that's taking place in the schools. He is breaking laws. All of the laws that are put in place, he is breaking it and has been allowed to break them. The Texas Education Agency is complicit with the governor of Texas in this scheme in misleading taxpayers. Oh, we're going to eliminate this debt and everything is going to be okay. But it's not that simple. Even Paul Bentoncourt, who is a proponent of school takeovers via Senate Bill 1365, which lifted COVID protections for schools. Most people don't know this. And he even says that we're talking about real dollars because it's going to effectively destroy our school districts. And I'm not saying that we don't need property tax relief because 20 years ago when I bought my house, Texas still had the highest property taxes that I have ever seen. So I'm not saying that we don't need property tax relief, but you can't trust what Governor Abbott is telling you all. What he is selling you all, as the children would say, wolf tickets, meaning he's not selling you something that is good for you. It sounds good, but it's not good. It's going to eliminate your public school system. And I know some people are saying, I don't have children in schools. Neither do I. I don't have any children in schools, but it is our duty to support our public school system. That as citizens, it is our duty to support our public school system. And you're probably saying how? Via the Texas Constitution and the U.S. Constitution. It is our duty to support our schools, and it's good. When our kids are thriving, we have a strong America, and we don't have that with what is in place. What does this mean for our schools? If school taxes are eliminated, there's nothing in place. The governor does not have a plan, and the math ain't mathing. And I teach math. When you're talking about billions of dollars, in order to fund all of the public schools at the levels in which they're at now, it would wipe out all of the funding for the state of Texas. So we know that's not going to happen. Even Paul Bentoncourt, who wrote the legislation for Senate Bill 1365 so that Houston ISD could be taken over, even he agrees that it's a lot of money and you would have to raise the sales tax to about 15%. This is why you need to take action. And the 2026 election is the way that we can save our public school system. If you care about your schools, about having strong communities and democracy, now is the time to start asking questions. Talk to your school board, find out how school taxes work. And then when you get that information, talk to your neighbors, your friends, and tell them about the real cost of eliminating school taxes. If you believe in public education, and the right of communities to run their schools, please consider supporting my campaign at michelleforstaterep.com or join the conversation on social media. Together, we can hold our leaders accountable and ensure that our schools stay in the hands of those who care about them most: teachers, families, and students. I'm Michelle Williams, and this has been Pencils, Policy, and Profits. Stay active, stay informed, and let's protect public education.